everyone. Alex here from The Artist Matters. It's a little bonus episode time. I haven't done this since I was with my granddaughter, and she came on as that special bonus guest. But I'm here solo. Figured I'd come in midweek, hump day, to get you over the hump. And there will be a new episode airing Monday. Can I even say airing? Publishing or posting. Let's go with that, huh? It'll drop on Monday. But I wanted to check in with everybody. Hope everyone is being safe during this time. Socially distant. Such a strange term. Because we're really not used to that, of course. Even though people may get on our nerves in crowds, we're so used to being around them, we tolerate being within a few inches of someone. And now we have to be cognizant to say, oh, I need a few more feet between this person and me. Not that it really matters in some places. I had 3 days off. Last weekend, Good Friday, started it. My wife and I went food shopping. And people were just going by us like it was nothing. My wife did want us to wear masks, so I had that on the whole time. Plus gloves. Bizarre stuff. But we managed. Went to a few places. She also wanted to get some photos developed and had them put into frames and put all around the house. Nice little creative project for her. She did a great job, and it was fun developing photos at Walgreens in masks and gloves. But it has been a long time since I've actually printed up photos and put them in frames or photo albums. If people still do that, I think they do. After having everything be digital, it's kind of wild to see the stuff hanging up. But it's nice. Gather up some memories and put them all around the house. Nice little creative project. I actually rode my horse. It's been a while. And I set a record. The longest time I was on her. It was 30 minutes. Usually 20 is about the point where, the saddle soreness is starting to kick in. And I want to get off. But my wife was outside with me. She was cleaning up the yard and said, go on. Go a little longer. Go a little longer. The horse needs it. Okay. And even took her over some of these gigantic mounds of leaves and horse poop. Yep. We scooped the horse poop into piles in our woods to make it kind of like this mulchy stuff. And it's pretty firm. It's basically soil at this point. But it was a nice little exercise. Believe it or not, I had my health app running, and I burned 167 calories according to that app while horseback riding. I don't know why. I'm not really doing all the work. The horse is. And that's the funny part, too, because I've been on a stepper machine for about 22 minutes with varying speeds and have burned 160 calories doing that. I don't know how that's equivalent to 30 minutes on a horse, but maybe it knows something I don't. It's a health app. It's just fun to use and keep track of stuff. Anyway, the weekend ended too soon. And there really wasn't much of an Easter. Had to stay home. Usually used to going to church. But I had a nice family conference call with my dad's side of the family. Dad was in this group too, finally. Got him in there. Good to catch up with everybody, see their faces. That's one of the great things about having this technology during this time, is being able to connect in this way via video chat. I really like it. And I see a lot of artists connecting that way, teaching classes online, or just putting up a video and saying hello to their fellow creatives, maybe inspiring them to try a little challenge. It is challenging this time. So many of us are used to teaching people face-to-face, or performing a concert, or acting in a show in front of people. It's a whole different beast. Filming a movie, you can't do that right now, as you would normally would with a bigger crew and cast. You might be able to film something like a one-person show. I actually saw Saturday Night Live, and they did a home edition where most of the actors did skits at their homes, and there was some video chat things going on there. Very clever. I did not think I would ever see that pulled off, but they managed. It was different, but there were some funny moments, I must say. And I've gotten into writing a little bit more of my short script called Injunction. A few lines here and there. Maybe coming to the end of it soon. It's just the process. Gotta go through it, do something, as I encouraged on my last episode of The Artist Matters. And gearing up to interview someone else very soon. It's still going to be bi-weekly. I'm sticking with that schedule. It just works for me. And that brings me to something I should have acknowledged over a month ago, but on March 2nd, we lost a really great host and interviewer, the one and only James Lipton. He was 93 years old, and many of you remember him from Inside the Actors Studio, the show where he sat down with many of the greats, actors, directors, musicians, from Steven Spielberg to Robert De Niro to Bon Jovi, Billy Joel, Elton John, Robin Williams, Christopher Walken, Holly Hunter, Sylvester Stallone, so many more. It was a great show in its heyday. I think as it went on, it just became this commercialized thing that I don't think really benefited what the show was originally intended to do. Basically, a master class. You sit down and hear from a master and how they do their craft. And he did his research. He always knew he had a lot of info when he had his stack of blue cards on his table where he would sit next to whoever the guest was and ask him questions, and maybe sometimes have the guest be taken aback, like, how do you know that? He does his research. That's one of my little impressions of James Lipton. And we know Will Ferrell did a great impression of him. So, I don't know if this is kind of strange or awkward, but I now know I can never be interviewed by the man in person. But I'm going to do a little editing and have him ask me that final questionnaire he always asked his guests that he got from Bernard Pivot, as he says. So, whenever you're ready, James Lipton, ask away.
What is your favorite word?
Artist.
What is your least favorite word?
Should.
What turns you on and excites you and inspires you?
Creative energy.
What turns you off?
Loud voices.
What sound or noise do you love?
Laughter.
What sound or noise do you hate?
I really can't stand the sound of someone packing their cigarettes over and over and over again.
And what's your favorite curse word? What profession other than yours would you like to attempt?
Life coach.
What profession would you absolutely not like to participate in?
Anything that harms animals.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gate?
I'm proud of you. Hey, I don't know if that seems creepy or strange or too soon. What have you. I've always fantasized about being interviewed by him and being asked those questions by him, as I'm sure lots of you have fantasized too about that moment. So why not? The technology's here. James lives on, and he is one of my interviewing heroes, because he always had this just suave, cool, friendly, personable demeanor about him, which made the guests seem to feel relaxed. It wasn't like they were at a press junket. They could talk about their craft, which is what I hope I can do when I interview my guests for The Artist Matters. I too like to hear the artist's journey, especially beginning at childhood, because that's where all that creative energy begins. It's what we are, what we know. We're learning about the world, learning how we fit into things, and the simplest thing, like a rock, can be this whole adventure. And it's great to see where it can lead. Maybe at a young age, you know already what you'd like to do. There's child actors and singers, performers. Where did they get this from? Especially actors who can get really deep and emotional at ages 4 and 5. That's incredible. And maybe that's all they do with that kind of art, and maybe shift their attention to something else. I think the girl who played Newt in Aliens, that was her only acting job, and she became a teacher, if I recall. Nothing wrong with that. But you're still out there creating. You have to create lessons and a style of teaching. So I'm sure her acting helped her in many ways to become a teacher. And that's what this is all about. I like to hear the stories. I want to hear the process. I want to get into the artist's mind and explore and chat and get to know them and give you some inspiration to channel your own creativity. So keep doing what you're doing. I pray we're done with this thing soon. It was a little sad to see. I was reading that they're pushing a lot of movie releases that were coming out in the summer all the way till November, because they don't think movie theaters will be open until July? Like, what? That long? Of course, we really don't know where we are at this time with this pandemic. It's not really steady, and it's not really plateauing. It's almost there, but what does that mean? How long will things remain shut down? And then even if you think about it, I too would feel a little uncomfortable about going straight into a movie theater with a bunch of strangers. As much as I love going into movie theaters, I'm not sure how I would feel about that. Even going to see a stage show. A concert might not be too bad if it's an open arena, but it still really sucks to see how much is affected by this. And I just pray my artists can hang in there and find other ways to create. Your art really does matter, and I hope I can be a part of that. So stay tuned next week for a new episode with a guest who I've been wanting to get for a while. And I will talk to you then. And no matter where you go, let your creativity flow. See ya. Bye.